Lance and Larry tracking the Pack this week right before the St. Louis Rams game for the Pack. We're joined by Larry McCarren. And Larry, we got to go back to that performance against the Arizona Cardinals, unfortunately. I know you crunched the film, you look at the tape. How much stock do you put in a poor performance, albeit the first preseason game?
Team-wide, not a lot, Lance, but if you're an individual, you still have to play well. And that game was costly to a couple guys. On offense, there's Graham Harrell. He had a lot of at-bats, didn't get anything done. It hurt him, and I think that's increased Mike McCarthy's, for lack of a better word, shall we call it, intrigue in Vince Young. And on the defensive side of the ball, Devon House had a horrendous night. He called it the worst of his career, and he winds up losing his job to a rookie, Micah Hyde. So the team result, hey, you forget it on the way home. But as far as individual performances, they matter.
Watching the tape, how impressive was David Bakhtiari? Did he do pretty much everything right in his unofficial debut?
No, he played fine, Lance, and this may surprise you, but I think he's better than what he played. He got the job done, but I've seen him in practice be more precise with his technique, his footwork, his hand placement, be more aggressive in the running game. And I just think he was a rookie, first time out. He played kind of a safe game, but I think he's actually better than the player we saw against the Cardinals.
Johnny Jolly nearly had a sack. Quarterback just eluded him. What was your impression of him as he tries to make that comeback?
In the game, I thought he was okay, but I have seen some signs of life this week insofar as suddenness. Lance, I think to play on the defensive line, you have to have a certain amount of, like I said, suddenness and explosive quickness to shock and shed blockers. And this week, during one-on-one pass rush in particular, I've seen that burst from Johnny Jolly. And I think that'll go a long way to whether he can actually come back and be an effective player in the NFL again.
Larry, you and I were at Wednesday's practice. Vince Young very effective at rolling out of the pocket, especially to his left, throwing some darts, and seems like he's more comfortable doing that. But with a limited knowledge of the playbook, can he truly win the backup quarterback job? And if you're Graham Harrell or B.J. Coleman, should you be worried at this point?
Well, I don't know about you, Lance, but just listening to Mike McCarthy talk, it seems like he's, as I mentioned earlier, kind of intrigued with Vince Young, and I think he's going to give him a long leash. He's well aware of his shortcomings as far as time in the system, but he's also well aware of some unique abilities that Vince Young could possibly bring to the party, and I think Young's going to get every opportunity to do so.
One of the few positives in the Arizona game, Larry, last year the offense kind of sputtered a little bit going into the regular season, had a lot of 3-and-outs. Mike McCarthy wanted to have good tempo, good rhythm. It seemed like the limited amount, just that first series when the first team offense was in there, they accomplished the mission that they wanted to do. What did you see on tape?
I thought overall it was a pretty good series, certainly aided immensely by Aaron Rodgers' 50-yard throw to James Jones. The one fly in that ointment, not being able to punch it in near the goal line. Of course, you could debate that and whether it should have been called a touchdown, but still, it was a very ugly play, not cleanly blocked at all, and that's the one negative in that drive. But other than that, I thought the guys were blocking well. I thought James Starks was running pretty good, and Aaron Rodgers, again, was Aaron Rodgers with that 50-yard strike. So all in all, not a bad way for the starting offense to start the preseason.
Now, overall, the offense obviously hung up a goose egg, so we didn't get to see the kickers. How crucial is this week in the Dome in St. Louis for Mason Crosby?
Well, I think every time out is pretty crucial, although I think they're going to be patient with Mason and let this thing play out with Giorgio Tavecchio. Those guys both kicked very well this week. I don't think the Ram game is what you would call a make or break game for Mason Crosby, but it certainly behooves him to kick like he can. Lance, I don't think the Packers want to change kickers. They just want Mason Crosby to kick like he can. And the last time out, he was 8 for 8, so was Giorgio. And as long as he continues to do that, the Packers are going to be faced with a very tough decision, but I don't think that's coming anytime soon.
And what else are you looking for in St. Louis and against the Rams in this second preseason game?
Well, actually, I'd like to see the safeties kind of separate, and I think M.D. Jennings has started to separate, but I'd like to see a blockbuster play or two to think, hey, there is the guy. I'd also like to see David Bakhtiari in that kind of setting, you know, noise, left tackle, getting it done against good rushers because the Rams have them, and wide rushers, seeing him do those kind of things. And I'm really hoping Eddie Lacy makes his preseason game debut. That kid looked gangbusters in the family night scrimmage. Haven't seen him since, really, other than practice, and he just came back after being out with a hamstring. I'd really like to see that guy when it counts, sort of. It is just the preseason.
Larry, you're already in midseason form, but I tell you what, when we're in St. Louis, you're going to buy me dinner for a change. A lot of good barbecue places down there, buddy.
Well, Lance, I got to tell you, absolutely not. Actually, I have two grandsons down there, and as much as I would like to spend the evening with you, buddy, I'd rather spend it with them.
I know you're very tight with Dan Deerdorf as well. I was hoping to get a steak out of you at Deerdorf and Hart's too, but apparently that's not going to happen, Rock, huh?
Does he still own that? Is that still Deerdorf and Hart's?
He still has a place of that ilk down there. Yes, I do believe he does.
Okay, well, Big Dan, well, good for him.
All right, Larry, thanks for the time. We'll see you in St. Louis. Lance and Larry tracking the pack.
All right. I'll look forward to it.